please be reminded of the fact that everybody here is entitled to their opinion. So let's be respectful of each other's opinion in the chat box. If you have questions, just put up your hand. You can do that electronically, or you can open your cameras and get to ask your questions. And please, let's get muted. Let's not be rude, putting our speakers on. Let's please put off our speakers so that you do not interfere when the speaker is speaking. And you know what to do. We are all adults, right? So let's do the needful as we dive into today's session. Okay, so we would be listening to, or better still, let's get to learn whom our speakers are. Technical, are you available? Can we get to know who our speakers are?
Yes, I'm with you in a second.
Okay, so whilst technical is getting ready, I would want to say it again. Welcome everyone to the 7th edition of the 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭𝐬𝐀𝐩𝐩 Global Entrepreneurs Meetup. Team, crafting your winning strategy. Crafting your winning strategy. It's a part 2 of the program that we had last week. Last week, we talked about developing your strategy, developing your business strategy. And it was so interesting that it seems like we didn't even have enough time. We seem not to have had enough time to explore. And so we hope that today we will be able to put a lead to the topic. Okay, so that's me, Julia Udwak, a certified executive coach, an HR specialist, and a counseling psychologist. I own my knowledge in business from CBS, Central University Business School, and the 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭𝐬𝐀𝐩𝐩 Global School of Business 365. I am a member of the WBEX community and serve as an executive board member of B360 Initiative, Juditech Resources, and Julie Board Consultancy. As a keynote speaker, I draw my experience from my international exposure and partnership. Currently, I work with the 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭𝐬𝐀𝐩𝐩 Global team. And there we have such an amazing personality, the one who is responsible for us being here. He is the master coach, Raphael Gine. He is a business and life intervention coach, the founder of 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭𝐬𝐀𝐩𝐻 Global Organization. The master coach, Raphael Gine, is an American of African descent based in Dallas, Texas. He is the CEO of 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭𝐬𝐀𝐩𝐻 Global and a successful business tycoon. The master coach, Raphael Gine, is a living example of the teachings of great influential leaders, including John C. Maxwell, Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, and Miles Monroe. Amidst acquiring wealth, he remembered his roots and took up the mission to share these same principles and teachings with every adult and youth with the desire to be great and help others exploit their maximum potentials. The master coach, Raphael Gine, is also a recipient of the Presidential Award by the former US President Barack Obama and Joe Biden for his contribution to solving the economic imperative in the USA. And our amazing guest speaker, Juliet 𝐻𝐻𝐻, is the managing director and lead consultant of that consultant. With a profound career in HR management and education, she is a strategic leader known for cultivating high-performance teams. Juliet has collaborated with organizations like IIPSM Nigeria, CPI USA, Thomas Credit Limited, Distance Education for Africa INC, and Babcock University Schools, amongst others. Juliet's professional certifications and membership underline her dedication to enhancing her business acumen and strategic thinking. Isn't that amazing? Thank you so much. So you see who is going to be talking to you today. I'm so honored, so honored to be here, to have the opportunity to learn from such persons. Majorly, this program is brought to business. So before the guest speaker comes on to share with us, let's listen to the 𝐼LEAD Global School of Business. Technical.
Have you ever wondered how you can turn your passion into profit? Do you have difficulties taking your business to the next level? 𝐼LEAD Global Business Coaching School is the answer. 𝐼LEAD Global School of Business offers your business mastery courses which serve as a tool to get you as an entrepreneur, your projects and business ideas prepared for the contemporary and competitive business space. In the school, you will be taught courses that will help you evaluate new business opportunities and transform existing ideas into real business, such as how to establish a good business, psychology of sales, how to set the price of a product, emotional understanding of purchasing, rebranding and growth strategy, the inner circle in business, just to name a few. Register now at www.ilieglobalinstitute.com or call the numbers on your screen. 𝐼LEAD Global, adding value to others. Have you?
𝐼LEAD Global, adding value to others. That's what we are about. So we'll be listening to Juliet 𝐻𝐻𝐻. Juliet 𝐻𝐻𝐻 will be talking to us on education as a tool for fostering innovation. In one of our previous sessions, we had talked about the need for entrepreneurs to learn business. You know, it's one thing to have the talent, to have the skills naturally to be able to do business. But when you learn from others, it gives you even a better edge to exploit. And as entrepreneurs, innovation is key. Innovation is paramount to taking your business to the next level. So what does education have to do with this? So let's listen to Juliet.
Thank you very much, Coach Julia. I want to be sure that I can greet everybody else. Good afternoon from Nigeria. Good afternoon, please can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
You're not so audible. Maybe you could speak a bit louder.
All right. So is it better now? It might sound better now. Is it better?
Okay.
It might sound better.
Yes,
Is it better? Can you hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you better now.
All right. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate the opportunity given to me by Ali Global to be here. An honor, and I'm happy that I'm here speaking to great minds, and I would like us to learn. So the topic before me is education as a tool for fostering and enhancing innovation. Over the years, people have given several opinions about what they think education is, from the formal perspective, semi-formal perspective, and then the informal perspective. Everybody has something to say about education. But first and foremost, I'd like to explain to all that education is not limited to the formal school. Everybody understands the formal education. It helps you with literacy, it helps you with numeracy, certification, quote and unquote qualification. That is beautiful. However, that is not limited. That is not all that there is when it comes to education. So what is education? Like I already mentioned, people have different opinions, but education is the process that leads to the total transformation of a man. The total transformation of a man. So who then is an educated person? An educated person is a person that is informed, a person that has worked on themselves, a person that has adjusted their behavior, their thought process, their input, and a good bit of the entire to significantly to the growth and development of their society. Please, kindly, if you don't mind, I would like to share my slide. I'd like to share my slide.
We are doing that already for you.
Thank you very much. So I have definition of education here. It refers to the process. Can you still hear me? I'm hearing the background sound, so I wanted to be very sure.
Yeah.
So from what we have here, education refers to the process of acquiring knowledge skills. Yes. What did you say, please?
Okay, Juliet, can we move your session forward?
Okay. No.
Perhaps in 20, 30 minutes, you should be in a better place. What do you think?
It's okay. That will be fine. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So technical, can we just have something to break the ice a bit? Can we have the funny videos? Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Technical, for that funny video. That was quite interesting. So that was a lot about strategy. So we will just dive in. I will be facilitating this session. For those of us who are in the different 𝐼𝐿EAD global social media platforms, we had our workbook shared. And for those of us who registered, we had the workbook sent to you. So I'm hoping that you have your workbook by your side. I trust that it is accessible to you. So the purpose of this session is to help us see how we can work with a template that guides us in creating our business strategy. From our last session, if you were not here, you can check us on our social media pages, our social media platforms, where we have the recorded session from last month, where we talked about developing your business strategy. So we looked at what strategy meant. We saw different examples of how businesses have always confused creating a strategy with planning. So we are so good at planning. We plan all the time and then we say is strategy. So what is strategy? And we were able to establish the fact that strategy are choices that you make in order to place you in a position where you can succeed in your business. The word strategy in business actually was adapted from the word of the military, where they have the military strategy when they have to go to war. So basically they have their war, the field where they will go to fight, and then they had tactics, on how they would fight, where they would stand, where they would aim at, what to do, who will go first and who will go next, and all of that. As this was adopted in the business world, businessmen and women would rather work at eliminating the competition, because with the military, it was about eliminating the enemy to gain victory. So it has always been about eliminating the competitor. So what do? They focus on the cost of production. Let's reduce costs so that we can reduce price. And then the competitor becomes irrelevant in the market, and people would rather buy from us because we sell lesser. Strategy further evolved from that meaning. And today we have strategy as being able to identify the problem with the customer. Taking into cognizance the customer's need over eliminating your competitor. So in today's phase of business, you would find that there are a number of businesses in the same sector succeeded in different ways. And that is what strategy is about. It's about you picking a particular area and making certain decisions on how you will succeed in that area. Picking a particular area and making certain decisions on how you will succeed in that area. So how do we go about this? We still have it all wrong. You would still find out that in most businesses, even though business executives would always tell you that it is so right to have a strategy, but nobody wants to take out the time to prepare one, to really have one. And it doesn't take so much to do, to create a business strategy. It's not as painful or as time consuming as people would think. Though the time we have in this session would not allow us the time to do so much, but we will do as best as we can, trusting that after today's program or after this time, you would create the time on your own to look through your workbook and see how you can create your own perfect, well, there is no perfect strategy, your winning strategy. I mentioned the word perfection. Trust me, you don't need to be perfect with your business strategy, because with the way the market is always changing, you would always have to come back to changing or making some tweak with your business strategy. And you see, for this reason is why most people would not want to take the time to create a business strategy, because they are like, the market is always changing. There's an economic downturn. So many things are happening. So why should I spend the time creating a market strategy? I will just make adjustments as I go along. Guess what? You would just be floating. Wherever the wind blows, you will just find yourself going here and there. But when you have a strategy, you have a blueprint. So even when there's an economic downturn, even when things don't go right, you have somewhere to come to center. You have a place to come to center and make adjustments as the need may be. One of the reasons why people would not want to spend the time creating a business strategy is because they feel that if I have to, why should I spend the time allocating anything to anybody when I can, build my own. And before you know what's happening, time is gone. Time is gone, because you want everything to be centered about you. So today we are going to learn how we can be able to make those adjustments and see how we can, be proud of our strategy. I'm going to be using myself as a case study for this, just to let you know that it is not about making a sophisticated plan. You don't need a sophisticated plan. No, you don't need a sophisticated plan. Just go with what you have. Go with what you have. The only thing you need to do is to think. Now you have to be creative. We all have the power to be creative. We just have to search within us and we will find that creativity that it takes to do this. So the first thing I would like us to do, if you have a pen and a paper, if you have your workbook there, you can just jot things along as we go and see how you can use that later. Give an overview of your business current state. For those of us who are already doing something, what would you describe your business as? How is your business running right now? And for those of us who have not started the business yet, what do you have? How good of an understanding do you have of the business you want to get into? What are the challenges? What are the opportunities that you see or that you have learned? It is very important to have this data. It is very important to give data. It is very important to have data because it is what will guide you, okay? It is what will help others who have to provide for you to be able to meet the need that you are expecting. So if you are about to start a business, you have to make that inquiry. You need to have a very good understanding of your customer, have a very good understanding of what your customer needs. Okay, and if you're already in a business like me, my coaching, my consulting and coaching business, for me it was a struggle, a mindset struggle. I had always struggled with the fact that why would anyone want to pay me so much money for the service that I offered? That was a lot. You know, I found myself doing so much work. I was so open to coaching anybody. Yet I struggled finding clients. And then I realized that even the models I was using to coach people, I had not even really tested them. You know, I just thought, oh, I've finished coaching school, I have my certification, and I'm an executive coach, you know, so bring it on. You know, I tried finding my own connection. I didn't have a mentor, and I lacked consistency showing up with the right people. So today, I will hear you're expecting me next week, and I'm not there. So this is like how my business was for me, you know. So how is your business? How would you describe your business, the business you are in right now? And so what has led you to seeking a new approach? For me, I had to tell myself the truth. You know, I can't keep struggling like this. I need a better structure to manage my working process. So why do you want to do this? Why did you see creating a business strategy and you decided to come? Why is it? Having this understanding of where you are and where you want to go is solving half of the problem, because you know where you want to go, you know what it is that you want to achieve. So what is that thing that you want to achieve? What is your business aspiration? Write it down. What is your business aspiration? What is your business aspiration? For me, it's providing an outstanding personal and professional executive coaching service. For other people, you might want to be the #1 in your field. For others, maybe you just set up your business. It's not about really being a #1. You are looking at creating a legacy for your family. You're looking at having a business that will transcend generation to generation. So what's the business aspiration for you? Do you want to cut across the globe? Do you want to be the #1 in your field? The next step would be your strategic focus. Your strategic focus. Now, you can't say you want to serve everybody. Yes, you can actually serve everybody, but where do you begin from? The goal might be to serve everyone, but where do you begin from? You should have a focus. You should have a focus. Are you looking at people at the 7th level? Are you looking at the poor masses? I was having a session with somebody and she mentioned that people always think it's the poor people that have needs, but the rich people also have a need, and she's able to create a niche from that. So what's your strategic focus? What's your strategic focus? With my executive coaching, I decided that my strategic focus, or I chose my strategic focus with the corporate, public, private, and business sector, the C class. So the executives, those are the people that I chose as my strategic focus. So what's your strategic focus? Now that you have a place, you have chosen a place, what are the winning choices? What are the winning choices? What are the things that you are going to do to make you succeed? How will you achieve victory? So I'm going to use myself as an example again. In the world of coaching and consultancy, we have people of, you have very learned people, you know, people that have really studied the models, you know, how to go about things, you know, and sometimes with my work, it's not always so applicable. It's not always so applicable. But because of how people can, should I say, want to take things for granted, you would find out that most people would rather want to go by the textbook. You know, they want to go by the textbook, that this is how it is being done. So this is how we would follow it. With my business, the problem that I am solving for my clients is that I know, as they say, it is lonely at the top. It is lonely at the top. So you see that these executives, they are always by themselves. You know, they feel lonely, they feel anxious, they feel pressured. You know, they have company goals, they have their family issues. There's really nobody to express because they have so many people, you know, down the ladder looking up to them. And so they are the ones who have to solve all of these problems. So who do they talk to? Who do they talk to? And that is the problem that I am solving as an executive coach. You know, working with managerial levels, helping them with their managerial responsibility, helping them make better decisions. So for someone who wants to apply 100% of the textbook coaching, yes, for some persons, it may be very relevant, but for others, it may not be so relevant. So for me, I am coming into my market space with a level-headed liquid relationship. So what I mean by liquid relationship is the fact that I allow my clients to call me even when it is not our assigned coaching time. So if we are supposed to meet once a week to have our coaching session, I give my clients the liberty to call me if they are having any form of challenges or that they need to talk to someone to get clarity. They can call me anytime, so long as it's not in the weird hours of the night. So long as it is not in the weird hours of the night, they can call me anytime during the working time, even when it is not our coaching session. And that's something you don't get. That's not textbook coaching. You see, but that's the angle that I am now coming into the market, into my market space with. So what are the winning choices that you are bringing in? Your choices has to be able to compete with your competitor. You know, it's not something that you're doing and then nobody's really doing, except it's a marketplace, a new marketplace where nobody has really, you know, exploited it, like it's a virgin marketplace that you're entering. But if it is an existing marketplace, a very good way to know that your strategy makes sense is knowing that your existing competitors are doing it like this, but you are coming in like this, you know, in the same space, serving the same purpose in a different way. So your customers even have the choices to choose, you know, if they should go with you or that they should go with your competitor. So I bring in on board tailored coaching, and then I also build my brand. I bring in authenticity and genuine valuable insights. So this is about what I do. So you have to look at yours. What is it that you do? So supporting, the next step will have to be your supporting infrastructures. Your supporting infrastructures. So what abilities do you have to be able to ensure that these choices that you have made or that you are making will succeed? What are the supporting infrastructures? So when I look at my competitor, using myself as an example, when I look at my competitor in executive coaching, most executive coaches are people who have retired at the executive level. They have retired at the executive level. So they have something like mentorship. They bring in mentorship. So, and look at me, you see my age. So I am not yet retired. I'm not yet retired. So what would I do to bridge that? What do I get to do to bridge that? What capacity do I have to bridge that? And for me, it means working or partnering with more knowledgeable coaches, more knowledgeable sponsors, you know, engaging a go-to-market expert, you know, someone who would be bringing in the clients for me, the agent who will be bringing in the clients for me. I don't have to go. I have to instead, so that I know that I am worth, you know, receiving the kind of money I expect to be paid for my service. So what capacities do you need? What capacities do you need to enable your choices become successful in your line of business? You have to identify that, you write that down. Now, we know that for Christians, we know that the garden was not watered by just one river. 4 rivers. It took 4 rivers to water the Garden of Eden. So if you really want to be successful, you know that you're not just going into the market with one thing. You're going into the market with more than one thing. And using myself as an example, as you can see on the screen here, I'm not just doing executive coaching, I'm doing consultancy, I'm doing organizational training development, I'm offering psychotherapy, considering my profession as a psychologist. I'm also doing educational development, and you know, there are other things that I'm bringing in with me. So what other things, what other offerings is your business, or can your business offer, or you can attach to your business? It is until you are able to make these decisions, make these choices, that you can begin to plan. We are very good at just jumping. Okay, I want to start producing bottled water. And what does it take me to produce bottled water? We fail to check. Who needs this bottled water? The environment that we are, you know, do they need bottled water? Would they like our pure water? What will make our pure water different? Why would people buy our pure water? You know, so you have to make all of this. You have to check, you know, check all of this before you begin to start doing, you know, the planning that is required to execute this. And then one thing that we also always overlook is our supportive framework. The mechanisms that we need to support what our choices. The mechanisms that we need to support our choices. For me, as an example, I realized that not because I'm a coach, then, you know, I should just do everything by myself. As I said earlier, I would have to work with other expertise. I would have to employ other coaches because I cannot be in all the executive space at the same time. So it means I have to work with other coaches. And because I need them to take it serious, I would create, or I have actually created a recruitment and selection process. You know, this would allow me to choose exactly the kind of coach that I want to work with. You know, coaches that align with my belief system, coaches that are better than me, not the ones that will come and be making me do the work, you know, but will do the work with me or for me, you know. And so for me, I decided that they have to see that they have a future. For them to stay, they have to have a future. So I created a career plan. So for those that get to work with me, they have a career plan. you know, so they can see themselves working with me for the next 20, 30 years. So what are your supporting structure? Are you just looking at, okay, I can always employ and sack, you know, I can always employ and sack. It doesn't matter. Is that good for your business? Is that a good system that you should work with? I take what I do seriously as a business, and so I would not run it necessarily by myself. For me, I'm going to engage managerial experts. So they will come in, they will manage the business. They will see that all of these decisions that we are making, you know, are working as planned, and where they are not working, where we need to make changes. They will bring in their experts to handle all of that. Okay, and then with my clients, I would ensure that, you know, the contract that we have is being executed. I would also have to measure what I am doing with them. It's not just, you know, coming there and then we have our coaching conversation and all of that. No, I would get an assessment and reassess the process of what it is that I am doing with them. And we would also do experiential learning and also follow up. So it's a whole package. It's not just half-baked. It's not just a one-time show up or 3 months show up and then it's over. You know, we would do the needful with the work. So what supportive framework do you have for your business? These are very, very serious things. They look, maybe they might look so easy on the surface, but they are not as easy. They look easy on the surface and negligible, but you see, when you neglect them, that is how your business crumbles. And then you're beginning to wonder, where did you get it wrong? You got it wrong from the beginning. So this is what you need to do from the onset. So when you have identified all of these choices, you have to find out what are the barriers. What are the barriers? What will stand in the way of you getting the kind of customers that you have decided you want to work with? What will stand in the way of you, of the capabilities, the abilities that you need? What is making the competitor, or what edge does the competitor have over you? You have to know these things and write it down. There is power in writing. Write it down. With me as an example, for me, it's organizational culture. Some organizations may not be familiar with executive coaching. And so they are like, what is executive coaching? Please, I beg you, we don't want to start worrying our head with that one. Some of them, they don't, because they don't know it, they don't have budget allocated for it. Some people will tell you their salaries, they cannot afford it to, because they don't even understand it, they don't know what it means. For some people, it is time. They're like, I can't even manage my time. Why should I now go and sit down with somebody, you know, to be having conversations about crises that I'm having? So, and for others, it's about the sustainability. It's with my competitor, is the mentorship, you know, the textbook coaching that they bring in. So you have to check, know these barriers, write them down, state them, have them by your side. And then you have to do what? You would have to test all of these decisions, because it's one thing to talk about these things, but bringing them to reality is where you have to test them. Like for me, with the barriers that I face, with organizations not understanding what is executive coaching, I would have to give them free coaching. I would have to give them free coaching for them to see, to taste what I am offering them. You know, so how would you test your theories? How would you test your theories? And one other thing that would help you check that your strategy makes any sense is that it's how they align. Is how they aligned. I'll just go back here and I'll show you what I mean. So for example, I say that I want to work with executive coaches, and my decision here is to bring in tailored coaching, is to bring in genuine valuable insights. So come and look at my supporting structures. Sorry. I say here that I want to work with executive seats, the C-suits now, and I'm bringing in a level-headed coaching. So you see that it is targeted to someone. It is actually targeted to people. The work I am doing, the people that I'm doing. It's not that you say you want to produce bottled water, and then you are talking about taking bottled water to dogs. You know, you'll be supplying bottled water to dogs. I know some people may be giving their dogs bottled water, but in a world where you're not giving dogs bottled water, you cannot say your focus is people in communities, okay? And yet you're talking about you're giving your service to people in, should I say, in some government parastatals. It doesn't make sense. They must align, okay? They must align. So when you do this, when you have all of this in place, when you have tested and you see that your choices are actually meeting a need, it is worthy of standing in the same space with your competitors. It is very, very important for you to understand that what you have is not perfect, and what you have can change, and you should be open to the fact that you would have to keep working on what you're offering. For example, today we are having this session online. Before now, what we will have done, we would have paid for a hotel, people would buy tickets, and you know, some people may even have to pay to lodge in the hotel. Some people may have to travel, you know, to have this session. But today we are having it online. Okay, so as things change, you can also tweak as the time changes. Okay, so I would want us to go to the chat and let me see what you're saying. What have you learned from this? Does this make any sense to you? For me, when I sat down to create this for myself, I realized how much time I had saved, considering how much struggle I had, and I realized how much focus, you know, I had gotten, more clarity about where I am and where I needed to be. So I'm sure when you take out the time to do this for yourself, you would even have more lessons than I do. So let's go to the chat and I take your questions, but I would really like to know what this means for you. Thank you, guys. Okay. Meanwhile, I want to say hello to Coach Petronil, hello to family, Barbara and Spa, and welcome on board John Paul Azuka. Okay, any questions? You can put your question in the chat or you can put your hands up. Okay. What's the time now? Technical. Okay, we do have time actually. We do have some time. So maybe we can just try something with the exercise in the chat and see. Right?
Remember, we have one.
Huh? Oh yes, our speaker. Thank you. I almost forgot our speaker. Thank you for reminding me, Jay. Yeah, so what questions do you have? John Paul says, thank you so much for the lecture. Thank you, John Paul. Yeah, what questions do you have? Any challenges? Anything you need more clarity on? This is so helpful, Ma. We appreciate. Thank you so much, iPhone XS. So what is the right way of creating an effective trust strategy? It's not more than how I have shared with you. You first of all, I would assume that you were not here, but you first of all have to have a very, very good understanding of your clients. What problem do they have? What problem is it that you need to solve? You know, and how can you solve this problem? So it's not just planning on doing something, but it's identifying your market and the value that you're bringing to the market. Identifying your market and the value that you are bringing to the market. Does that make sense to you, Jay, or would you need me to talk more on that? I'm trying to get into the chat. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you. My business niche is clearer. Thank you, Coach Marie Claire. I'm glad that this is helpful for you. Okay, thank you so much, Jay. Yes. Jay, I don't know what the yes is. I don't know if it was for my second question or my first question, but you have to understand your customer. You have to understand the people for example, as I said, using the pure water business, you can't say you're going to be producing bottled water. You can't say your customers are, for example, your locality where you stay, that these are the people you want to produce water for. And they don't have any understanding of bottled water, for example. Now they don't have an understanding of bottled water. What they know and appreciate is pure water. Now you say you want to bring in bottled water. Why do you want to bring in bottled water? What problem is the bottled water going to solve in that? So maybe for you, you have realized that they have been having this typhoid, and you know that if they resort to drinking bottled water, that will solve the problem. So the problem there is typhoid, and you want to start producing a particular kind of bottled water that will solve that problem. So that is the value that you are bringing, but they don't understand that value. So when you have decided that this is your marketplace, this is the value you want to bring in, they don't understand this. What are you going to do? Maybe you might have to give them the water to drink for free, right? Maybe you may have to give them that's just an example of testing. You're testing your market. You want them to drink the pure water for free. So you are now collecting data. You give like maybe 10 persons the bottled water to drink for the next 3 months. And then you're checking them, you're testing them to see how they respond to this bottled, to the water. As their health become better, have their chances of getting typhoid reduced or increased, you know, they get to see. It's like when the world, everybody knew that you have to use napkin. You remember napkin for mothers? We use napkins for babies, and then they will have to remove the napkin and wash it and dry it and then use it again. So that is something that people have been using for a long time and we're very comfortable with. And then Pampers came along. Pampers came along. So many people did not want to use Pampers. Why should they use Pampers? But the value that Pampers was bringing is the fact that this is poo, this is excrete, and there's so much discomfort, you know, washing the napkin and then getting to use it. Okay, so how about using this Pampers is disposable. You can just, when the baby pools, all you need to do is to wrap and throw away, right? And this is how you use it. So you can imagine the period that the pamper producers had to give people Pampers to test for free, for them to feel it, use it, see the convenience it brings to them over the inconveniences that they had with napkin. Okay, so they have to test that, and then they get to see that, okay, this idea, because it's just a theory, before they just thought about it, how can they make it easy for people? They could get into the lab, they produce, they did all the checks and balance, did that, spent all the money and all of that. People have to test the value. Okay, they have to test the value to see that it can work for them or understand it. I don't know if this has met you well, Jay. Okay, thank you. Jay says he understands. Please, can you speak on ways of dealing with customer behavior? Okay, that's a good one. Can we do this for our next topic? We might have to explore that in our next topic. But customer behavior, if I will just touch briefly on it, works on different levels. So you're either talking about customer behavior to the product or customer behavior as on relationship. But customer behavior is actually a very huge determinant to the success of your business choices, actually. So family barber, that we do not deviate so much. I promise you we will explore this in our next session. Okay, Dominic Storr said, I think more of this coaching should be conducted for different companies or business. Example of a topic or team, excellent strategy for fast food. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Technical, please, let's take notes of Barbara's question and Dominic Storr's so that we can exploit that in our next sessions. And Dominica Stoll says, business strategy is the key success to every kind of business. Lack of strategy is the beginning of a business downfall. That's very true. Thank you. Thank you so much for your insights. I like that. Thank you. Okay, do we have hands up? Are there any more questions that we are yet to answer? Please feel free to ask your questions. Feel free to ask your questions. There are amazing coaches here in the building that can always step in to throw more light where necessary. So feel free to ask your questions, please. And we have an interview on the topic, with an international expert coach. If you have not seen it or heard of it, you can check our social media pages and get to take a listen. We get in that interview, we got conversational about the comfort traps and why people do not create business strategies and how you can create a good business strategy. Okay, we are still open to taking in more questions. Thank you so much. Thank you. We are still open to taking in more questions. Feel free to put your questions in the chat box. We would move to our next session, which will be listening to the guest speaker. So Juliet, are you available for us now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so we would listen to Juliet, and Juliet is actually one of the people who has had experiential learning with 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭𝐬𝐀𝐩𝐩 Global 3 years now, right? 3 years ago, it was an amazing experience, wasn't it, Juliet?
Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay.
I was asking a question. Did you hear me?
I think please, could you take the question again?
Okay, I said you are one of the persons that have had experiential learning with the 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭𝐬𝐀𝐩𝐩 Global.
3 years ago. I think you mentioned 3 years ago.
Yes, when the lockdown had us all 4 a.m. Yes. Okay. So do we share the screen?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Technical.
Okay, feel free to tell me when you want me to next the screen.
Yeah, okay, yes, please. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the fact that you want to work with me. I'm grateful. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Juliet. I have been rightly introduced. I'm the CEO of that consulting. I've interacted with a lot of business schools, 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭𝐬𝐀𝐩𝐸 Global in 2020. I've interacted with, that was the John C. Maxwell leadership training. One of the people that I learned from was Coach Raphael Dean. I learned quite a lot. And then, of course, Quantum School of Business and Technology, University of Exeter School of Business. And today we'll be looking at education, a tool for fostering and enhancing innovation. Education is a tool for enhancing and fostering innovation. Now, a lot of people have different opinions about what education is. If I ask you, you would tell me what you think education is. Education has a broad definition. All over the world, people weigh in their opinions on what they think education is. So basically, when people define education, they take it from the formal perspective, from the semi-formal perspective, and from the informal perspective. Whatever perspective you want to look at it from, you're very correct. But today, I would like you to open your mind and your heart, because education is not limited to any one sector. What is happening in school, the formal school system is beautiful. Like I told you, I have interacted with a lot of business schools, and currently I'm doing my MBA with Quantum School of Business and Technology, USA. All the schools, they have one thing or the other to tell you, but there's something that I want you to hold when it comes to education. Please, next slide. Education is the process that leads to the total transformation of a person. Education is the process that leads to the total transformation of a person. So that tells you that with education, we are looking at the transformational person. And if you check, even across leadership, they will tell you there are different forms of leadership, there are different levels of leadership, but one thing stands out, the transformational leadership. Do we all know that? You know, we can talk about the transactional leadership. We can talk about the democratic. We can talk about the authoritarian, the autocratic. We can talk about the laissez-faire, the permissive, etc., etc. But one thing that stands out is transformational leadership. What does that tell us? Whether we are looking at education, or we are looking at innovation, or we are looking at leadership, transformation. Why? Every single person is born raw. You know, we talk about everybody is born tabula rasa. What is tabula rasa? A clean slate. Everybody is born raw. Education is now process that refines you, just like when you pick raw gold. For some of us, if I show us raw gold, you will not even recognize it. How many of us have seen raw gold? Raise your hand if you've seen raw gold. A lot of us don't even know what raw gold is. But we do know that the purest form of gold is 24 carats, right? That is exactly what we know. That's to tell you that in your raw form, nobody cares. In your raw state, people don't know you, people don't recognize you. Why? Because you're not so usable. But by the time you go through fire, the refining fire, then the glitter begins to come out. That's exactly what education does to you. It picks your raw form and then it refines you. So education leads to the total transformation of a person. And in education, we used to talk about the domains of learning. We say the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. We call it the 3H: the head, the heart, and the hand. The head is the cognitive, the heart is the affective, the hand is the psychomotor. So what does that tell you? Every channel of input and output is affected by education. Education leads to your total transformation. So we can go on and on. I have some definitions of education here, very, very important. Beautiful definitions. Education refers to the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, value. We know all of these things, but whatever form of education you are receiving, whether it is formal, informal, semi-informal, it must refine you. And if you look at the root word that produces education, educare, educere, what does that mean? To call forth what is in the inside and to grow to development, what is on the inside. So that tells you that in the transformation of a man, we are looking at two things: to call out your strength, your potential, and to nurture it to maturity. So education, in transforming you, we identify your strengths, call them out, and nurture them to full growth and development. So education is not supposed to force anything into your head. In some schools, I know they do that. Education is not supposed to change you into somebody else. No, education is supposed to pick who you are, work on who you are so that you're a better version of yourself. And that is why we see with an education, a person is a better member of the society. You fit better into the society and you can better contribute significantly to the growth and development of the society. And that is what we refer to as giving back. So you draw from the society and then you give back to the society. Next slide. Next slide, please. Innovation. What is innovation? Next slide. Innovation. Next slide, please. Now, again, we have beautiful definitions of innovation. Lovely. You have them on the screen. You can read them. You can go online. You get a lot of definitions of innovation. But what is innovation? You see, one of the things you've noticed in my presentation is I'll tell you what every other person is telling you, but then I'll also tell you what it is that I think about it. We can give any definition to innovation: the process of reproducing, the process of this, the process of that. Any definition you give to innovation is beautiful. But whatever definition you give to innovation, I want you to note something. Innovation helps to better what is existing. Innovation helps to better what is existing. Now, some of us will say innovation is not the same thing as invention. Invention means you are producing afresh. You are dealing with something novel. It has never been done before. But innovation works on things that are already in existence, making them better. Because as we move on in this discourse, we're going to be looking at the link between education and innovation. And one of the things that I want you to hold is that the relationship between education and innovation is dyadic. What is the meaning of dyadic? It is both ways. Education influences innovation, innovation influences education. So it is a dyadic relationship, just like you have man and environment. Man is influenced by his environment, man influences his environment. So as we progress in this discourse, we'll see that both education and innovation are something that happen pari passu. Okay, they work simultaneously. So innovation is picking whatever is in existence and making it better. That's what innovation is. Whatever is in existence, we make it better. Take, for instance, writing. Man has always written. If you check in the earliest years of man, man inscribed on tablets of stone. And that is why if you read through the Bible, but for those of us that are Christians, you see the Bible talking about people who are scribes. Now, who are the scribes? They are the people that will inscribe on, you see, those are the people that write. But then as we moved on, we started writing with ink on paper, right? Then we write with pen. Pen is still ink, but then innovated, still on paper. And today we can write on our phones. Do we know that? That's innovation. Innovation means we make it better, whatever we have. Do we understand? Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, I talked about mutual influence. Learn to innovate, innovate to learn. What does that tell us? Innovation is in education, and education is in innovation. So you learn to innovate and innovate to learn. It's a mutual relationship. So I put it here that the relationship between education and innovation is dyadic. I already explained that. They're both ways. Education shapes innovation, and innovation in turn shapes education. And we're going to see how that happens as we progress. Education builds a framework for innovation. Innovation redefines education and how it is approached. Today we talk about technology in education and technology for education. Today we talk about AI in education, AI for education. We talk about digitalized learning, online learning, individualized learning, personalized learning. How did we come about this? Innovation. It is still learning, it is still education, but now we are giving it a different outlook. We're giving it a different methodology, pedagogy. We're giving it a different outlook, a different approach. Why? Because people transform. You see, the human society is dynamic. It is not static. It is subject to change. And as man is changing, the ways of man changes. As man is changing, the thoughts of man changes. Whether it is the way a man thinks about something, the way he feels about something, or it is about the way he reacts to something, the attitude of man, the thoughts, the feeling, the action, behavioral. It changes. And as it is changing, we still need to educate people. People still need to learn. So as the ways of man is changing, as the life of man is changing, as the society is changing, we also need to change the way we approach education. Otherwise, we are going to stick to old ways of doing things, but we're not going to get contemporary results. So we have the classic, the old ways of doing things. It's still very important. They are still beautiful, but then we also have the contemporary. So the contemporary tells us that from time to time, things change, people change. The way we are doing it right now is our contemporary. And then I put it here that education empowers individuals with the skills, knowledge, and mindset needed to tackle complex challenges and create transformative solutions. Exactly. Education is taking what you have and refining it yourself. Now, you know that the process of refining it is the innovation that we are talking about. Thank you very much. Next slide. Next slide. Yes, education and innovation. Oh, by the way, I like images because, you know, it is said that a picture can speak 1,000 words. I hope we know that. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Next slide, please. Thank you. Innovation influences education. How? What is happening today is a clear definition of how innovation influences education. I'm in the comfort of wherever I am, you are in the comfort of wherever you are, but we are connected and we are learning and interacting from one another. So we are connected, we are connecting, we are sharing, and then hopefully we are networking and we are learning. Why? How? Via innovation, online resources, virtual learning, personalized learning, modern teaching technologies, and of course, AI in education. These are some of the ways that innovation has been able to infuse itself into teaching, into education. And also, we mentioned that education also has a way of infusing itself into innovation. So I feel some of the things that we put up here, they are really, they are things that we can relate to. So please, let's go to the next slide. There are still some things that I'm going to buttress, but let's go to the next slide, please. Next slide. Could you go back? Because I've not seen education. Okay. Learning and innovation. The changing learner. The changing learner. What does this mean? From time to time, the characteristics of the people that we are training changes. I hope we know that. As the society is changing, people are also responding to the changes. And as we said, change is the only one thing in life that is constant. So people change, the society changes, and the way the society changes rather. And the way we approach people also changes. So the changing characteristics of learner, for instance, you would agree with me that in the agrarian period, what was the in thing? Agriculture. Is that not true? Agriculture. That was what was in thing in the agrarian period. Move to the industrial period, factories, the discovery of the combustion engine, factories everywhere. Move to the information era. Move to the knowledge era, information era, and right now, that's to say that, okay, thank you very much for the comment. I really appreciate it. That's to tell you that people change as we move. In the agrarian period, there was no such thing as white collar job. Is that not true? There was no such thing as white collar job. In the industrial revolution, then we now started talking about looking for jobs, factory setting, etc., etc. In the information age, you look at explosion of digitalization of all processes. You see that? So that tells you that even the people that you're training, they are changing. Their characteristics are changing. Society, the worldview of so many things are changing. That tells you that if you insist on how things were done in the 60s and in the 70s, you're just going to remain there. You're not going to have a lot of influence. Tools for innovation, technologies and systems all over the place. 5D, 4D, 4D, like many things are expanding. So we cannot stay where we used to be. And then of course, high schools and supporting, all of these things just tells you that as we move across seasons, as we move across generations, the way people see life, the way people approach things, they differ. Today we talk about modernized agriculture. I hope you know that mechanized farming. It is still farming, but what has happened? Innovation, technological evolution, explosion, as a matter of fact. So that is to let us know that innovation and education, we can't remove it. And like I mentioned, education is not the only thing that you learn in school. The formal school system is a part of education, is a kind of education. It is not all that there is when it comes to educating a person or a people. Next slide. Yes, relationship between education and innovation. I've already explained how that education nurtures innovation. And then, of course, increase efficiency, effectiveness. You see, if I wanted to teach without using, if not for online, I can only be in one place at a time. I hope you know that. And what that simply means is that I can only talk to the people who are in that location per time. But with innovation, especially digitalization, I can connect to people in different places at the same time. And I'm aware that on this call, we have people from Nigeria, USA, Cameroon, Ghana, etc. So that tells you that I can do more when it comes to educating people, thanks to innovation. Now, increase efficiency. Yes. Now, if not for innovation and thankfully my ability to create my slides, I would have had to write all my points on the board. So instead of the technical team sharing my slides, I would have had to write. Do you know how many hours it would have taken me to write all the things that we've shared so far? Can you just guess? Imagine everything that we have been sharing. It's so simple. You just use your finger to swipe it and it goes to the next slide. Minus innovation, I would have had to write every single thing on a board. Do you know how many hours it would have taken me? So instead of having this presentation for, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, we would have had to have this presentation for nothing less than 2 hours. And I can assure you people will be exhausted by the end of the day. And of course, people will not learn much because, in psychology, there's something, some of you don't know that I even have a first class in psychology. Yes, I do. I have a first class in BSc psychology. We talk about the mind-body relationship. If the body is in a state of distress, the mind cannot assimilate. So there is a strong relationship between your mind or your brain and your body, the brain-body relationship. If you are in a place and it is too hot or it is too cold or you are not comfortable, your body is in a state of distress. Your mind cannot assimilate. You see that? So imagine you would have had to write every single thing. Even the person talking to you will be exhausted because now I would have had to stand. Is that not true? And then I would have had to bend. And then I would have to start writing. Oh my God. Reduce efficiency. Now increase access. Did you know that with innovation, you can access not just 10, not just hundreds, millions of online resources? I can connect a professor in the US and they would open their e-library to me and I'm going to have access to thousands, and I mean hundreds of thousands of publications. Increase access. I don't have to travel down to the United States if I don't want to. I don't have to travel down to the UK if I don't want to. I don't have to go to Ghana if I don't want to. All I just need to do is to contact them and they will give me their open online access. And here I am devouring, consuming their resources. Now, digital storage systems. Gone are the days of opening files upon files upon files upon files. Today, what do? Our resources, we store them online, cloud. And you know what? It is safe. But the things that you store manually, there could be a breakdown of the system. There could be a collapse of the system. There could be anything, natural disaster, flood, erosion, and then you will lose material. But you see, innovation ensures that we have a digital storage system where our resources are safe and they can last longer for us. Now, digitalized administration. How many of us still remember the days where if you want to register for something, imagine we wanted to register for this training. Let us assume that this training was a ticketed training. And we decided, okay, so people are going to register and there is no innovation. Would have had to go to the venue, right? Pay in cash, then the right receipt would have had a long queue of people. Would have had a long queue of people. Again, time wasting, or if you like, since it is important, so let's not say time wasting, time consuming. People will burn out. So innovation, education, they help. Now, bringing innovation and education to business. Now, some of you will say education and business. I thought people that do business don't go to school. You are wrong. I already mentioned that education is the success that leads to the total transformation of a person. Bringing it to business. Every single thing that you need to move your business from the level of idea to the level of product delivery or service delivery is your education. I'll take it again. As a business person, whatever knowledge, whatever skills, whatever tools, whatever experience, exposure, relationship, mentorship that you need to move your business from the state of conceptualization, idea, to the place of product delivery or service delivery, substance, that is your education. So what does that tell us? The education that you need is quite different from the education that the other person needs. Education is not the same 100% for everybody. It is not a one shoe fit all size. No, it is different for different people. What you need and what I need is quite different when it comes to education. And this is one of the things that the school system doesn't do so well. They bring everybody together and they force it down your throat. And if you check my previous slide, we talked about personalized learning, individualized learning, where everybody is an individual. If you're a fashionista, whatever you need to connect to your client and build your brand is your education. So for some of you, the education that you need is not in the school system. Do you understand? The education that you need is not in the school system. The school system parallels something, literacy and numeracy. Everybody needs that at the basic level. The ability to read and write and communicate effectively. Speaking, reading, listening, and writing. Everybody needs that. Now, aside that, the next thing you need is the education that helps you to achieve your goal. Whatever you want to do with your life, what you need to move it from the place of goal, idea, to reality is your education. So I want you to expand your mind when you hear education. It doesn't mean pack your bag and go to a formal school system, learn, write exams, and get certificated. You don't need that. Did you know that the apprenticeship system is also education, semi-formal education? In fact, it is one of the most strongest form of education because you get to learn directly from your mentor. As an apprentice, you are a disciple. The person that is teaching you is your mentor. You learn from them back to back, practically. Well, in the Igbo system for like 6 years, then you do your graduation or your freedom, then you start your own. It's one of the strongest system of learning because you get to apply all the psychological tools that you're not even aware of. Number one, behaviorism. In behaviorism, we say that all of man's behavior is operant in nature. What does that mean? It is guided by reward and punishment. So we talk about social learning. Imitation, you watch your boss do it and you do it. The way your boss used to talk to the customer, the way your boss used to negotiate, the way your boss used to close deals. Imitation, learning by watching. Do you know that is the way children learn? That is the way they learn. It's one of the strongest ways to learn. So there's a lot of things that the formal system of education does not tell us, but it's very, very strong. You know, people used to say that here in Africa, we have a way that we learn. One of the ways we learn in Africa is informal and then semi-formal. So education is something that everybody needs, but everybody needs different kind of education. Does that make any sense to us? Because sometimes when you tell people you need education, they think what you mean is go to school. No, that's not what we mean. I am an educational consultant. I am a project manager. I have project management professional, human resource management professional, and I'm an associate member of International Institute of Project Managers, Project Management, also an associate member of Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management. So I understand formal education, but I also understand that that is not all there is. So when you tell people you need education, they think what you mean is go to school. No, that's not what we mean. We mean you need to become a refined person. You need to become a better version of yourself. You need to gather the knowledge, the skills, the tools, the mentorship, the people, the experience that you need to achieve your goals. That is education. You need to move your ideas to a place of actualization. So it is from conceptualization to actualization. That is education. Do we understand? So if you want to become a nurse, you need a formal school system. Okay. Now, if you want to build certain things, you don't necessarily need a formal school system. If you check some of the innovators and the inventors, they didn't necessarily learn their skills from the formal school system. So for some of us parents, you need to expand your mind. Some of the things that your children need, sometimes it's not in the school system. And some of you, you're so close-minded. Now, why am I telling you some of these things about me? Is because I don't want you to think, well, she didn't really go to school. That is why she's not a very school person. I am very, very schooled. I have TRCN certificate, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. I'm a professionally certified teacher. I have too many MBAs. I have BSc. I've done many, many trainings in business schools in and out of Nigeria, US, everywhere. So I have formal education. And I'm telling you, that is not all there is. Your education is that experience put together, that exposure that helps you to move your life from conceptualization to actualization. Every single thing that you want to do, from the point of I want to do it to the point of I have already done it. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? That's what education is for you. Yeah, thank you very much. So, next slide, please. We can talk all day about education. Next slide. Oh. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time that I spent with you. I know that I'm constrained with time. I don't have all the time in the world. So, and I don't want Coach Julia to tell me time up. But we can talk all day about education. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. Thank you.
Amazing. And I see the chat popping up with so many persons affirming everything that you are saying. Thank you so much for doing so much justice to that delivery. I'm so grateful you came at this time, because that is what we are about. It's about educating. It's about educating the globe, educating the world, adding value to everyone as best as we can. So when we're talking about education today, it just aligns with everything that we are. Thank you so much. I see the love in the chat for you. Thank you, thank you. So let's take a bit of questions before we move to the next session.
Yeah.
Let's have your questions. Juliet is open to answering them. Annie says, I respect your facility of knowledge. Touching every angle simplifies it more. Thank you so much, Annie. Jay says, whatever knowledge, tools, or mentorship you need to move your business and values to the next level is dependent on your education. Yes, and that education begins with your open-mindedness to learning. Okay, I see inspiration from Linda. I see your hands up. Linda, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
We
Coach
can.
Julie.
Hello.
Yeah. I actually came late. I've been in and out of the program, and the little I got to know, the way you break it down is amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I wish other people need to be on the platform to know the true definition of education. Like in our system in Nigeria, I guess you are from Nigeria, right? We have issues with education. And like yesterday, I was watching a parenting program, which a lot of parents don't know what is going on in the world, because you did mention something about that. People focus on go to school, go to school, go to school. We forgot that in this age now, what we are facing, what our children will face in the future is different for what we are, is different for our personal challenge, because now you have to be vast in knowledge. You have to fit into any place you find yourself. That is what will build the future, because we are just sharing the future now. So many people don't understand what you are telling them now. In the next 15 years, they will know the level you are coming from, because we need to expand the knowledge of our young ones to let them know that the school certificate is just the certification stuff, but your talent, because the Bible said your talent will make a way for you. So the talent, your skills, is what you need to fit any environment you find yourself. How do I produce in this environment? So I didn't really, start with you, but I was able to grab some. So what I'm trying to share with you, because it's something that I know, and you just put it on the table, like putting it where there are things, there are things you see trendy, but confirmation, this was a deep confirmation for me, and then to also like put more emphasis on parents. This is for parents, because we don't know everybody school. If you don't go to this school, if you don't go to London, if you don't do this, there is more to education than the school thing. So I just said I should just, add with what you are saying. And I want you to also find a platform for parents to know more about this. It's for the future.
Yeah, I actually do. One of the things that, when we talk about education, like I said, people think go to school. There's an aspect of education that a lot of parents don't even touch: sex education. I have a certificate from International Institute of Clinical Sexology, USA, on sexual disorder and discussion. Now, for all the certificates I've been telling some of you, so you have an opinion about me. I'm an under 30. I'm not yet 30. So I used to say I'm an under 30 CEO. Okay. I'm under 30. Yes, I'm not yet 30. Because people are like, what is certificate? How old are you now? I'm just, thank God. Yes, now it's sex education. The first time I mentioned sex education to a particular parent, she was like, why do you want to start sex education? I said, madam, look, there's something we call sexual bullying, sexual harassment. Your children don't know how to handle it. A lot of people don't even know how to report it. There's something we call safe distance, setting boundaries, especially for members of the opposite sex. That is sex education. You see, when you tell people sex education, they think you mean insert, in and out. That is an aspect of sex education. So another aspect of sex education is sexuality education, understanding your body parts and how they have been wired to function. A lot of people don't know this. So there's a training that I do, yes, for parents. It is teach your child sex education. A lot of parents are uncomfortable, and I understand. In their own generation, their mother did not quite talk about it. The school was silent about it. And the church many times doesn't want to talk about it. We all know, don't we? Now, parents need to learn how to teach their children sex education. So I think that you should come for the program, and other parents too. Learn how to teach your children sex education. I did a sex education training for them in church. Oh, I'm a Christian sex educator. Christian, yes. So I asked them, who created your penis? They were uncomfortable. I said, it's God. Who created your vagina? They were like, what kind of question is this in church? I said, yes, who created it? God. And I said, now, the manufacturer of anything knows the best way to use it. True or false? They said yes. I said, now the person that created your penis and your vagina said, use it only in marriage. What do you think? They're like, yeah, yes, it's true, it's true, it's true. But when I said, who created the penis? They don't want to talk. But if I had said, who created it, they would have said, God, is your body not part of you? You see that? So parents need to learn how to teach their children sex education. And yes, I also do consultation for children, especially secondary school and university children. There's a program that I do is career and academic development program. Do you know that many of the people that go to the university?
Yeah, okay, Julia.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we are time constrained.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, beautiful Linda, for giving us more insight and then shooting us. Yes, thank you. Okay, let's hear from Annie. Yeah.
Somebody is
Tony, Annie. Yeah.
Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
Tony. Unmute.
Is that a speaker or a question?
Okay.
Is it a speaker or a question? Okay.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, Miss Juliet, thank you for that insight. The exposure was great, actually. Although I joined exactly the time you are entering your own part. But the part I really want to understand very well, because days back I took to my Facebook channel, I was telling the young ones that they should try as much as possible to have skills, to acquire skills as much as they can afford before graduating, because it's not funny out there. That was exactly how I put it. And there was a lot of reactions. And my question is, the time you are talking about conceptualization to actualization, thinking about it and then getting it in place, I want to understand very well, because the Nigerian system of education particularly, I'm sorry if it's prohibited to like talk about a particular country here. The Nigerian system of education, when it comes to the way they teach us, just like Malinda said, they are all about, you are studying, for example, my course is parasitology and entomology. And I tell you, it was when I graduated that I discovered that there are more to this than what I have just acquired. First of all, we are not licensed to work in the lab, but over there, they will tell you, you have the opportunity in the lab. It was during graduation that I saw the shege in it. Currently, now I'm teaching in a secondary school that is undergoing my NYSC program. So I want you to, like, when you are talking about education, like doing this and doing the other one, does it include that somebody, maybe you are in school now, you are learning how to do something, what they call art, I don't know whether they call them artisans or artistic something. You are learning how to, is that part of education from what you said? Because I would like to share this with some group of persons. That's one. Then there is another one they said is GL, General School of General Studies, whereby you do all this entrepreneurship.
Sorry, let me take the first one. I don't want to forget any of your questions. If you're learning artisans, people that work with their hands, is it education? Yes, I already mentioned to you that even in the school, they will teach you that there are three ways of learning. The head, cognitive, the heart, affective, and the hand, psychomotor. Those are the domains of education. And that forms the basis for formal, semi-formal, and informal education. And if you listen to me, I mentioned that the apprenticeship system is a strong system for education. In fact, it's one of the strongest. You know why? You get to learn practically on the job. Now, for those of you that did a little bit of HR, you know that we have inductive training. That's the training that they give you when you come to an organization. They help you to get acquainted with the organization, the culture, the policy, the politics. Yes, the expectations, etc. Now, there's something we call off-the-job training. You are moved away from your office to go learn somewhere else. And there's something we call on-the-job training. It's one of the strongest ways to learn. Why? Because you're practicing as you're learning. And it even allows you to retain more, because whatever it is that you're getting, you are putting it on the job almost immediately. One of the weaknesses, so to say, of the-job training is that you can forget some of the things that you've learned. And practicalizing it on the job can be a little bit difficult. But on-the-job training is very, very strong. And that is one of the things that apprenticeship system allows you. On-the-job training. And you are learning practically from your boss. You watch the way your boss interacts with customers. You watch the way your boss produces, the way your boss markets, the way your boss negotiates. Do you know that? You know, I said I have a first class in psychology. Business people are one of the strongest psychologists. One of the strongest, I tell you. Business people, they are one of the strongest psychologists. When it comes to human interaction, human understanding, business people are very strong psychologists. Now, they may not be psychologists by certification, by training, but by practice. They are psychologists, I'm telling you. Now, who is a psychologist? If you understand human and animal interaction, behavior, they are very strong with psychology. And if you're not careful, they will manipulate you. You know, they can trick you, they can fight you.
The logic.
I'm telling you. Now, I'm telling you. So I know it because I'm also a business person, because now I run my own business. Yes, I have my own consulting firm. We do educational consulting and all of that. So I'm telling you, business people are strong psychologists. Now, some of these people, they may not have the certification, but they have the education because they've learned and they practice it. You see, these market women, they are strong business people. If you speak English, you can confuse them. But if you speak their local dialect, you'll be confused. You'll be surprised. They are strong with accounting. They may not have studied debit and credit, but you know what? They will do business, they will buy, they will sell, and they will calculate their money and make their profit. They are strong accountants. So, you know, I read, when I studied education,
So
I studied
can we move to the second question, Juliet?
Sorry.
Okay. Second question is so direct. What advice do you give to all this theoretical teaching? Although you have already talked about it, but in Nigerian system of education, all this, you do this, you do that. At the end of the day, all of them ends theoretically. No practice at all. For example, the current, what they call it currently is GS 301. That is the entrepreneurship. There you have to read about, basically about business analysis and how to handle business, how to start up, all those kind of things. What advice do you give to that?
First of all, let me tell you something. Now, you see, if you can learn in the school system, you can learn in many places. You know why? The school system forces you to be patient. Have you noticed that? It takes patience to learn in school. An impatient person cannot learn in school. So whatever they are teaching you in school, learn it, pass it. Like I passed well. I made the first class. Pass very well. Do yourself a favor. Look for who to learn the practical from. Now, some of the people that you meet in school, it's not really their fault. You know, I don't want us to delve into government and governance, but some of your lecturers would have taught you better if they had equipment. I hope you know what I'm trying to say. You don't have to call the name.
Yeah.
Yes. If they had a well-furnished laboratory, they would have done more practicals with you. And you see, over the time, as they do theory, they tend to forget. They're human beings, you see. So it is a systemic problem. It is not just the fault of your lecturers. I'm also a product of the Nigerian school, then I also have international education. It is not 100% their fault. If they had a better system, they would perform better. So don't blame them completely. Don't blame them completely. So what I'm saying, learn their theory and then practice elsewhere. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Juliet, I love the fact that you're able to do so much justice to all the questions. I wish the time would have allowed us to explore so much. Before we are supposed to have our breakout session, but I don't know how much time we have. Whilst technical will decide on that, I would just take the question I see on the chat. I think that question came whilst we were moving to the present segment. I think the question is, will reduction of price as a strategy affect the quality of the production? Now, this is, I hope that Dominica Stores is still here, who asked the question. This is one of the reasons why it is very important to have strategy. Because when you have the strategy, trust me, you will not be about price reduction, because you are very confident in the value that you bring, and because you have understood your targeted market, you would rather work at making your product compelling. So for example, if you have done the testing and people can see the value of what you are giving to them, why would you put your product on sales? Most of the time, products are on sales, that is with price reduction, because they are not able to make sales. You can plan, you have control over plan, but you don't have control over what customers are going to do. You cannot, that goes to the question about customer behavior. You cannot determine customer behavior, no. Customers' reaction to your product. So the only thing you can do is to make your product compelling. And the only place you can do this is from the start, from the ground level in creating the strategy. How do I place myself? Where do I place myself? What is the best place for me to sell what I have? Where is the value I bring more good, is going to be more appealing? From the beginning, I said that business strategy has evolved from the time when people would just say we have to reduce costs so that we can reduce price. So when they do that, they are of course going to reduce the quality. They don't care about customer. Okay, so now thinking about the customer, you place yourself, you give them what they want, you place yourself in a way that you are appealing enough to them that they would want to come and buy. So in the interview I had, I remember the coach saying something that you go to a marketplace and then you see the jeans being hanged everywhere. Maybe they are selling it 1.5. That particular jean, you enter a particular shop, a particular boutique. They have AC on, they have, so many lights and things. And then you see that jean, maybe for 5,000 or 50,000. In your mind, you're telling yourself you cannot even negotiate this. So how compelling is your strategy? The manner at which you are able to put that and have that in place, strategize yourself properly in the market. There is no need of reducing price. There is no need of altering your quality, the quality of your production. Dominica Stores, I don't know if this has met you, if this has answered your question. I see that Udeme is also interested. Okay.
Sorry, I just want to be sure that my section is over. I want to be very sure. Is my section over?
No, it is not. We would have a breakout session, so you might want to explore with people that will be in your session. So please.
I don't know. I didn't know that I was going to do a breakout session because
It's just a 10 minutes. It's just for 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem.
Okay. Jay, am I missing any question? Are we missing any question in the chat?
No, not really.
Okay. So we'll be right back. Okay. Technical, are you ready to take us away?
Okay, yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm not sharing my screen. I'm trying to make sure that my network is as efficient. Okay,
no,
so
we don't have time for breakout session. It's 3 minutes to top of the hour.
Yeah, so it's up to you to decide if we're going to do it.
I think we should pause.
We can have it here. We can have it here.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say there is no more breakout session? I'm sorry. I'm not sure what
we will just have it here, the breakout session. Let's have it here.
Please check your direct
we will just open up for more questions if there are more questions. Are there more questions? Okay. While we are waiting to see if anybody has questions or sharing, if you have any sharing on any of the topics that have been talked on today, you can please put it in the chat or be ready to open your mic. Whilst technical, let's see the 𝐖𝐻 Global Training Center. So we have heard about how important it is to get educated, and we have also heard about the different kinds of learning. We have learned about the different kinds of learning. With the 𝐼𝐿ead Global Training Center, we don't just train, but we offer you the opportunity. We offer you the opportunity to practice as you learn. You practice as you learn, and you don't just practice as you learn. You also have the opportunity to earn money. To earn money, yes. So you go through the program, you gain experience on the program, and you get paid for it. You get paid for it. So you enroll into the program. So we have different courses. We have soft engineering, we have web design and development, we have digital marketing, we have finance and accounting, audio and video editors, real estate assets management. Yes. So we still have so much more. We even have HR. So you get enrolled into the program, and the cost of paying for the program is also very flexible. So what is it that the market demands of us today? Trust me, we have it in the 𝐼𝐿ead Global Training Center. So you come learn, get trained, learn on the job, you get the skills, and then you get paid. Okay, so who wants to share? We can still share if you want to share.
Okay, 𝐻𝐩𝐻, sorry, just to add to what you said. With the training center, you can also tell your friends and family, because learning a skill is very paramount, especially with the advancement of what is going on in the world's economy right now. The earlier you pick up the skill, the earlier the person is able to advance in it. Forget the fact that you are being paid to learn those things, or that after that you get an employment. It's also that you get to be empowered. You are not bullied by the change in any kind of economic hazard. So it's important. So you can talk to the people around you, your friends and your family. They might just be interested in taking advantage of that opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jay, for throwing more light on that. Okay, no more questions, no more. If we do not have any more questions, we can allow Juliet to go, and we would also call it a day. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. We will take the opportunity to invite you to our program tomorrow. We have the Monday Vision tomorrow. The Monday Vision gets to talk about the vision of 𝐼𝐿ead Global, which is to touch the lives, transform the lives of so many people, so many people. We don't want to reframe ourselves. We want to be able to transform the world through our learning platforms. And so we would also be looking at the products that we offer. So if you would take out the time to be there with us tomorrow, that would be great. We will share the links on our different platforms. Thank you so much for making out the time to be here today. Do have a lovely day, and I hope that you found today's session insightful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next month and tomorrow. Thank you. Good night. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Coach Marie.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Wendy.
Wendy, it's good to see you. Are you back in Ethiopia? Are you back in Addis Ababa?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Thank you for the session. It's a wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Wasulwa. Did I say it well?
Wasulwa. Kalum Oniko.
Yeah.
You're joining us from where?
From
Germany.
Congo. Yeah, from
From
Congo.
Congo. Oh.
Congo Kinshasa.
Congo Kinshasa?
Very.
Okay. That's lovely. Yes.
Living in Germany.
That's a beautiful place. Congo looks like Lagos. Congo, Kinshasa looks like small Lagos.
Yeah, more Lagos. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So
Ah. Hello, Mr. Ima. Thank you for being here. Mr. Ima, it seems you were saying something.
yeah, I said it was a lovely session. I won't miss the next one. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
How is London?
London is good. London is good. Thank you very
Cold
much. Okay.
or rainy?
It's
it
just
wet
cold.
in
It's not raining.
London?
No, it's not raining. It's just cold.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here.
Bye.